Hey guys, Paul here from Hero. Today I wanted to talk to you about sleep. I've received quite a few questions about prioritizing exercise over sleep and vice versa. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of insight into the research I've done and also the experience I've had when it comes to the importance of balancing these two things out. And it can get a little bit sticky, and it's also on an individual basis how to weight these types of things. But there are a few things that are undeniable when it comes to being able to harness your mental and physical health. And that is that sleep is so important when it comes to the health of our bodies and minds. There's been a lot of research done into the power of sleep, and I feel like a lot of I'm just going to speak candidly. A lot of men hold lack of sleep and being busy and being workaholics as like a badge of honor, up late at night, punching away at the computer, and this can really have devastating consequences when it comes to your mental health and your physical health. People that sleep 4 to 5 hours a night, as opposed to 7 to 8 hours a night, have the testosterone levels of those 10 years their senior. And not to mention that their testicles are significantly smaller, and that's a fact. There's also a 40% drop in their ability to retain information. So if your intention is to be able to work at your optimal level at the office or at whatever job that you're pursuing, it's kind of backfiring on you because your ability to be able to retain that information is not going to be at its highest by any stretch of the imagination. There are also like unbelievably damning statistics when it comes to your cardiovascular ramifications. Heart attacks are really prevalent when it comes to lack of sleep. In fact, there's this amazing statistic in that when during daylight savings, for example, when we lose an hour of sleep, uh, heart attacks that very next day are on the rise by 24%. That's right, 24%. And what we've also found is the next when daylight savings is completed, for example, what we find is that those heart attacks are reduced by 21%, which is quite amazing. Um, so yeah, look, these are really interesting statistics that support the importance of sleep. And what also happens is there's a genetic kind of expression that happens every time you go to sleep as well. So the um, you know, every time you get a reduced amount of sleep that is lower than 7 to 8 hours, your immune system is just compromised into such a significant degree. And um, another thing that happens is your increased stress and inflammation is just through the roof. So all these types of things are really, really powerful when it comes to lack of sleep. Now, as men and as fathers, we experience lack of sleep by default to a certain degree. But the point of this talk is really to be able to encourage you to get back into positive sleeping patterns as quickly as you can. And I suppose what can you do to get back into these positive sleeping patterns? Well, there's a few things you can do, and there's a few things that I try to do myself. And that is, if you can, it's go to sleep at the same time and wake up at the same time as much as you possibly can. And I've been doing this over this COVID period, and waking up at the same time has been a really, really reinforcing process for me. And going to sleep pretty much the same time as well. Now, a lot of people, as I said, have come to me and they've said, the only time I can actually train is super early in the morning. Well, if that's the case, and you're going to sleep at 11:30 at night, you should feel like you should be able to go to sleep half an hour earlier, say 10:30, or even 10:30 at night, and wake up that little bit earlier. It's going to be so much better for your hormone levels, and there's a lot of hormonal replenishment that takes place between the hours of that 11 p.m. and 1 a.m. So try that out. And there's also a lot of people feel comfort in sleeping in a warm environment. Well, that's not necessarily the best thing for your body when you are going to sleep. You want to be in a cooler environment to be able to get a restful sleep. Your body really is at its heights when it comes to replenishment at that 18-degree Celsius mark in bed. So if you've got electric blankets, or if you've got big, enormous doonas, try to consider, sleeping without layers on, and lose the lecky blanket. That could be one other really powerful step towards a restful sleep. There's also a process and a strategy that I kind of have tried to live my evenings by, and that is, it's the 10-3-2-1-0 strategy, which is 10 hours before bed, no more caffeine. I try and cut it off a lot earlier than that. 3 hours before bed, no food or alcohol. And then there's 2 hours before bed, no work whatsoever. I don't know about you guys, but if I'm working close to sleep time, my mind is in that overridden sympathetic nervous system, and it takes me a long time to wind down if I'm still in that kind of analytical state. So consider that as well. And then there's a really powerful one, which is 1 hour before bed, try to be away from any kind of blue light. And that includes phones, that includes laptops, televisions. You can also dim your main fluorescent light globes in your living room or your bedroom, and just have a night light on, read a book, and just give yourself and your biology the time to unwind and get ready for sleep. Because the amount of hours that you sleep is one thing, but it's also the quality that you have in that sleep, which is oh so important. And then there's 0, which is the number of times that you should be hitting the snooze button. Now, this is a really powerful thing as well. I put a post up recently about iPhone having the snooze button being twice as large on their alarms as the stop button. And I think that's ridiculous, because we should be making mornings the most productive time of the day, and making it easier to hit the snooze button than to get up in the morning is setting yourself up for failure. So these are just a couple of different things and strategies. There's a lot of information there. I hope you've been able to gain something from it. The last thing is sleep is not like a perk that you get to have as a little bonus in life. It's a biological requirement that you have to survive. And if you use it properly, you can actually thrive, and you can gain so many greater insights into what capacity your body has to be able to get the most out of it. So I hope you got a lot out of this, or at least something out of it. Please comment if you have any further questions. Thanks, guys.